What's up, lead dwellers? Good morning. Happy Friday to everyone. And I would just like to say hello to all the lead dwellers out there. If you're watching live, please comment lead. And if you're watching replay, please comment well. All right. Some quick announcements. Let me put that out. We have our website, drfrancisdpt.com. Okay. Whoop, there we go. And our staffing company that covers the Dallas Fort Worth area for physical therapy and occupational therapy, First Shepherd Healthcare Staffing.com. And just letting you know, if you want to be featured here in Lead Plus Well, just check out drfrancisdpt.com and we'll have a nice interview to just, promote your brand and just help a lot of people out there. So we are excited today because we will be talking about leading well in mental and behavioral realm. So I have Miss Landy Blackmore, and we'll talk about what she's been doing more later. But she is a certified dementia practitioner, and she is the director of business development for Hickory Trail Hospital here in DFW. So without further ado, let me introduce Miss Landy Blackmore.
Hello.
Hi.
Thank you for having me.
Hi. How are you doing today?
Doing well. I am glad it's Friday.
There we go. How are you handling the freezing weather here in DFW?
Well, I'm actually originally from Michigan, so I feel like a wimp now.
This is nothing, right? This is nothing.
This is nothing. Yeah.
Yeah. So meaning, just have a coffee and, just have a good warm jacket and you're all good down here in South. When did you move down here in Texas?
So my husband and I have been here for almost 5 years.
Awesome.
Yes.
So you're liking the 4 seasons in one day here in Texas, right?
It's a little different.
I know.
We miss the fall in Michigan. The fall is beautiful there in the summers, but
exactly.
yes.
I live in the Chicagoland area for 2 years, so I know what you're talking about.
Yep, you know exactly.
Yep. So, Miss Landy, you are a CTRS and CDP. Can you tell what you've been doing lately and function as a leader?
Yes. So I'll kind of start back a little bit first. So I went to school to be a recreational therapist, which is basically what the CTRS is. And it's using music and art and play to work on a lot of different types of therapies. So it can be physical type modalities or it can be mental. And so when my husband and I had just moved to Texas, I was looking for an internship and landed one in psych, and it terrified me. I had no understanding or idea about what that was going to look like, but I absolutely fell in love with it. So I graduated, got that certification, and then I worked my first job in a memory care as an activity director.
Nice.
And got my CDP while I was there, my certified dementia practitioner. And it was there that I really started to learn that there was a lot of lack of education around not only dementia in our older adults, but also around mental health. And so I've gone back and forth a little bit between the psych setting and working with our older adults, but I am back now as the director of business development at Hickory Trail Hospital. Nice. And it has been an absolutely amazing experience and road to get here. So I love my job.
Awesome. And if I may ask, how young are you?
I am 25 years old.
Bam! Look at that. You're the youngest leader that I have interviewed. And just to show, hey, you're not limited with your age or, like sometimes when I was young about your age. So don't ask how old I am because I'm still not that old. Just kidding. But, I feel like intimidated to talk about or lead someone. I mean, at 25 years old, I have like already a supervisory function in a school. So that's kind of, scared because you got like leaders that are about 10 years, 20 years older than you. But somehow it's a training ground to know that, you can bring something on the table, you can empower people and they can learn from you and learn from them. So how do you deal with that anxiety as a young leader?
Yeah, I used to be really intimidated being the youngest person in the room. And now I just kind of use it to my advantage a little bit. I think sometimes people are a little taken aback by new ideas and new perspectives, but the younger generation is coming up and I think the biggest thing for me and what's kind of helped is I learn the way that's been done, and I have a mentor in any
Nice.
situation that I'm in so that I can help to softly bring new ideas and new perspectives in, but in a way that people understand and that we can really adapt to change. So,
I think you hit the nail on that when you
mhm,
say that, you are not scared to try something new, but you also have a mentor somehow for
mhm,
accountability and back you up when it starts a little, shaky, and you want someone like some guidance. So that I think is something very valuable nowadays, that with Zoom and everything that's, available to reach out to someone that you can look up to for some inspiration.
yep,
There's no limits, really. I mean, it's actually a sign of humility to just ask someone, "Hey, I don't know what to do. How can we figure this out?"
exactly.
Simple as that,
Yes,
right? Awesome.
yes.
If I may ask, since you've been there in Hickory Trail, what are the services that you're offering?
Yeah, so we are an inpatient acute psych hospital. So we see individuals as young as 5 and as old as 105. And so it's individuals that are coming to us that are usually in a crisis, so harm to self, harm to others,
Mm-hmm.
or with our older population, a decline in activities of daily living. And then we do have outpatient programming as well. If
Mm-hmm.
there are individuals that maybe aren't at that acute crisis
Mm-hmm.
stage, but they're recognizing that they need help for maybe substance use type things or depression or anxiety. And so we do try to give people services before they get to that acute crisis
Mm-hmm.
stage, but unfortunately a lot of people don't get help when they need to.
I agree. So, to be honest, how do you think that the pandemic has affect everyone, leaders, and just
Mhm.
normal people out there with in terms of mental and behavioral health?
We have seen such an increase in mental illness, and not just talking about statistics or looking at what's being, but seeing actually in our hospital
Yes.
mental illness getting younger and younger, seeing more kids, seeing more adolescents, more older adults. I used to go into scenarios in assisted livings and memory cares where people would tell me, oh, we don't ever have any residents that need you. We don't
Mm-hmm.
we don't bring in that kind of resident, and that's just not the case anymore.
Right.
Everyone is struggling with mental illness right now, and I do think that the pandemic positively impacted conversations around mental health. So I
Mm-hmm.
think more people are talking about it, but we have a
Yes.
long way to go still.
Oh yeah, definitely. I think I heard from a statistics that in 2 years we'll figure this out. I'll be honest, looks like we're running a little slow, and
Mm.
everyone's feeling it, the drain, mentally, and they have that Zoom fatigue also. Like everyone's just working, and
Yeah.
man, I'm like 8 hours on Zoom, and it's just draining me. I mean, it's just a game changer. That's why we need to also innovate, like us on the physical therapy realm. We
Mhm.
usually see patients one on one, but because of the pandemic, people are scared to go to the clinic, so we
Mhm.
kind of switch to telehealth. But the
Yep.
problem is we have, as a physical, meaning we need to guard people and touch people when they're walking, and that's
Mhm.
kind of a safety hazard. So we're still figuring it out. So everyone's adjusting still, even at this time, 2 years down after the pandemic. So if
Yeah.
I may ask, Miss Landy, what are your personal joys
Oh.
on working in mental and behavioral health?
Well, so I'm going to share a little bit of a story. It's a short story, but so we were invited to go to a local Celebrate Recovery group a couple of months ago to have a table, and they have a pretty large group. They have a few hundred people come every Monday,
Yeah.
and I was a baby bawling in the back
Mm-hmm.
because that was one of the first times. I'm so used to seeing in our setting so many acute patients, and they're with us. Our average length of stay is anywhere from 7 to 12 days.
Wow.
So we don't know what happens
Mm.
afterwards sometimes, and we don't know if they ever find healing and wholeness. And I got to see in that scenario, so many people had come up to me and said, I went to your hospital a year
Mm-hmm.
ago when I was suicidal, or I detoxed at your facility a few years ago when I was having drug and alcohol issues. And
Hmm.
to be able to see people in the community that are healed and whole and
Yeah.
that have actually attained recovery, that has been the absolute biggest joy. And it's a little bit different now being
Hmm.
more in the marketing realm and being out in the community, but
Yeah.
there's definitely a lot of joy in this that I get to do every day.
And you know what I like what you said about marketing and being community. Sometimes we think that, okay, there to market our company, our brand. You know what, you can even actually expand your skills that you've learned inside, let's say, the office or the hospital, and
Yep.
put it out there. I mean, because that is technically your credibility as
Mhm.
marketing the brand. Because if you believe in the brand, if you believe in the company, it's
Yep.
easier to offer them, and you know
Yep.
how to help them more because you've been
Exactly.
there.
And
So
I know something I'm super passionate about as well is we are not, and my team, we are not out in the field. We are not talking to businesses or hospitals or healthcare facilities to get patients. That's
yeah,
not our goal. Our goal is to help normalize this conversation around mental health and get people the help that they need. And I like that you mentioned kind of getting out in the community and using your niche. And as a recreational therapist, I had the opportunity to get this really amazing mental health art curriculum
nice.
training out of Rhode Island, and only
Oh,
7 people in the state of Texas are certified.
mm,
And we're doing it in our hospital with our
awesome.
recreational therapists. And I have this certification as well. And so I can go to businesses and do it in the community with them to show them a really amazing programming that we're doing.
Amazing. And
Yes.
that's just how it is. I mean, if you want to learn something, there are tons of, resources out there, a little investment, I mean, of course, you want to be certified, that's an investment.
Yeah.
So you need to just grab on it, because if your goal is to really be good in what you're passionate about, just
Mhm.
take on all the tools. I mean, there's no I mean, how would I say, every investment that you put into your personal and professional education is gold.
Yep.
You know, I definitely agree with that. And what do you think is the toughest challenge you've been in since going to the behavioral health realm?
There's a lot of challenges. I think the biggest is probably lack of resources. And unfortunately, there's so many people that need help, and there's not enough beds. There's not enough resources of things when they get to that point. And so I think the biggest challenge has been navigating a lot of those things, as well as just educating the community, because there's this huge stigma around mental health, and there's this huge stigma around psych hospitals, and
Hmm.
it's changing. And so
Yeah,
really keeping up, going to city officials and courts and things like that to really
yeah,
help educate our community to just help and normalize this, because anyone is one trauma away from needing us. And
exactly.
I truly do not think anyone is above it. So I think the biggest challenge has been a lot of those stigmas and barriers,
Hmm.
in terms of and lack of resources and access to care.
Definitely. And I think that's why I said, when I first give an orientation with you,
Mhm.
this is a very vast topic, mentally and behavioral health. And
Mhm.
somehow, us as physical therapists, here's what's happening. More and more clinicians are doing what they call more of a like a private practitioner type of job.
Right.
Meaning, gone are the days that we're just in the hospital or being under a home health company. Because let's say, I'm talking about people that are doing more like cash based practice, or having their own brick and mortar clinic.
Okay. Yep.
Um, here's and I asked this to you last Friday. Let's say we have, a patient in front of us. We have build rapport, they're very open to us, and out of nowhere, if there's a patient that says, I think I want to end my life, and
Mhm.
I'm the private practitioner, there's no one behind me like a hospital or home health. Because
Mhm.
if there's like a home health or hospital, I'll just call my case manager
Right.
and tell that issue. But as a private practitioner, and which, it's big now in our
Mhm.
therapy realm, how should we, what they call this, take action without
Mhm.
going to a place of legalities and getting in troubles us professionally?
Yeah. So you had a situation that you had asked me about, and that it kind of sheds light on just how challenging it is to especially get our older adults help as well.
Yes.
So there are a lot of different facets that involve getting someone help. The first is seeing if that person is willing to get help. If they're willing and you can assist with getting them to a safe place where they can be assessed, that is an option. I know personally, I actually am very excited. I'm adding to my team a clinical liaison that's a nurse so that
Nice.
she can go to a lot of those situations to assess what level of care someone does need. So reaching out to hospitals for those resources. And if someone is not willing, that's when we have to involve the courts or the police. And sometimes I know I had shared with you, this may be very uncomfortable, but ask that patient, do they have a plan? And
Yes.
that's what we call active versus passive suicidal ideation. If they have a plan, obviously it's serious either way.
Mm-hmm.
But if they have a plan, that is a sign that that person needs immediate crisis help
Oh, yeah.
because they have already thought about how they would hurt themselves. Um, so very first line of defense, I would say, is obviously if you have to involve police or family members, that is the best resource. And they can kind of assist. But if you have time to call a hospital and see if a hospital can come out physically to
Mm,
see that patient, that's an option as well.
exactly. And the thing is, by educating the community that, once you are in that situation, you don't need to be scared because,
Yeah.
oh no, I'll be like a witness because this,
Mhm.
what if something happens tomorrow and I'm the last person to see that client? Let's say, just be honest, like
Mhm.
someone had a suicide and I'm the last person that he told about it.
Yeah.
Some kind of scary, to be honest, especially that we're doing patient care one on one. So that sheds some light for us that we should
Yeah.
not be scared of that, and we can reach out directly to the police or like
Mhm.
resource people, a behavioral hospital that can help and assess with the situation. So at least the liability on our end is not that too high, and
Absolutely.
we just want to don't get involved with that patient anymore. No, that's not the thing here. We really want to just address. And here's the thing, Miss Landy. Yours truly is a certified life coach, and it's a Cert LC, meaning we have the responsibility that we cannot go over that mental health
Mhm.
border.
Mhm.
Like if the client says, oh, I'm just demotivated at work, I feel like I'm burnt out, yeah, we can help with that and
Right.
give him some activities. But if the client says, I want to end my life, this is not working out for
Mhm.
me, that I need to really get a professional licensed counselor or someone that is very educated with mental health. So meaning there's really drawing the line in there, and everyone should help because the only way that we can prevent more suicides are
Mhm.
just community education
Yep.
and being proactive with it.
Yep. Very true.
I agree. So, Miss Landy, let's talk about a little bit about leadership. What's your own definition of leadership?
So there's a quote that
Okay.
I heard years ago that I've always tried to live by, and that's live like you're at the bottom, even if you're at the top.
Oh,
So,
okay.
regardless, and I actually have that on a board in my office, and it's followed me with every single position that I've gotten since I've graduated from college. And
Mm-hmm.
just as a reminder that regardless of how high I climb, regardless of what positions I land, I need to be willing to do anything that I'm asking other people to do and
Yes.
be humble first and foremost. And so I would say that's a big facet of leadership for me. And
Mm-hmm.
I think without humility, leadership is very challenging and it's
Yep.
ultimately not going to be effective. But just making a difference in the lives of those around you. To be a leader, you don't have to have some huge position in a corporation. Being a leader in your family, being a leader among your friends, leadership has been coined to be this just big term, and it's not necessarily.
Yeah.
Anyone really has the ability and the influence to be a leader.
Oh yeah, definitely. I mean, I'm agree with that. Like, I'm always asked, are leaders born or made?
Hmm.
Actually, John Maxwell said, I haven't seen a leader that's not yet born.
Yep.
So
Yep.
everyone's born. But how do you transition to getting the skill, practice leadership first with yourself, because that's the hardest one to
Mhm.
lead yourself early in the morning. You need
Right.
some coffee to get that going, right?
True.
But yeah, definitely, I'm a believer that humility is an essential value, because I always say to our audience, you should have like at least five people that surround you that are actually more skilled and intelligent than you, and learn
Yes.
from them,
Yes.
and pick the right people that will put the input, put in
Mhm.
input in your brain and your heart so that you can be like them, you
Yep.
know?
And I think so often people are so scared to be held accountable. It's
Yeah.
uncomfortable, right? To
Yes.
say, I need you to tell me what I need to work on. But that has been what has helped me grow the most is surrounding myself, like I said earlier, with a mentor in many different scenarios to say, hey, I need you to hold me accountable and I need you to help me be better, no matter
Yeah.
how uncomfortable it's going to be for me. I need you to call me out. So having those people in our lives who can call us out and help us grow is so very important, not only to personal development, but for
Mhm.
leadership.
Oh, definitely. I mean, as you, let's say for sure, you at 25 years old, there's a huge opportunity of career advancement in front of you.
Mhm.
Mentor somehow, because it's like a pyramid. You go up there like the ladder, but more mentors will actually give you foundation as you climb that. As the leadership goes narrower,
Yep.
mentors give you some foundation that if you fall, it won't fall hard.
Yeah.
Because it's lonely out there. You know what I'm
Yep.
saying? I mean, as a businessman, sometimes I just talking to myself, man, this is hard. No one catches my vision. I don't know why they don't get it, but you have to reach out to people.
Yeah.
It's also a sign of humility.
Yep.
So amazing. So Miss Landy, what is your advice for, let's divide it into two, for
Okay.
up and coming rising leaders like you first?
I think, well, we've talked about a lot of things that I would have to say, but I think the biggest thing is educate yourself on leadership. Read leadership books. You mentioned John Maxwell, Simon Sinek.
Yeah.
Watch podcasts. You know, I think back to when kind of foundational leadership things first started for me. It was in high school
Mm,
in a leadership class, and to this day, that teacher is still one of my mentors. And just educating yourself about leadership and what it means to be a leader and learning yourself when it comes to taking personality tests and
yes.
it really helping understand what your strengths are and what your
Mm,
weaknesses are and how to grow from that. And I think the best way is to read books and watch podcasts and watch TED Talks and just truly educate yourself because there is an educational component that I think a lot of people miss.
exactly. I like what you said, just, there's educational stuff out there for free. My goodness,
Mhm.
like
Free.
when I discovered Spotify or Apple Podcasts, my goodness, I'm being taught by John Maxwell, by
Yeah.
Simon Sinek, by Craig Rochelle, by I just listened to Tony. I forgot that like a very good motivational speaker. And
Okay.
man, I get access to this. Like when I graduate in college, I only read them at books, and I need to buy them.
Yep.
So you need to really continually learn. So here's the thing. It's a tough question. What's your advice for seasoned leaders out there? Because there's always a stigma. Okay, I cannot put advice on someone that's like 25, 30 years already as a leader. But go ahead. Will you say to that very seasoned leader right now?
This is a hard one.
I know.
I think regardless of where someone is in their leadership journey, surround yourself with people who are different than you. You mentioned that earlier, have 5 people around you who are smarter than you, who can really excel at areas in which you can't.
Yes.
But I think it's very important for people to surround themselves around young people, around old people, so that you can gain different perspectives and really just have so many different life experience facets come to the table.
Oh yeah, definitely. I always am a believer. I mean, that five people is I look at it like a cross. Like you're in
Mhm.
the center. There's one above you that's been ahead of it. There's two side by side with you that you're going along with the journey, and maybe another two, below you that you're mentoring, you're pouring your heart and passion into.
Yeah. I
That will
love
keep you
that.
grounded along the way, because we haven't figured it all out. Any leader
Yeah.
haven't figured it all out yet. For me, if I mean I'm talking, let's say a 20-year older leader than me, I would say, I would like to learn from you. Your
Mhm.
experience is very unique, and anything in your heart that you can pour out on me, I will accept it like a big bucket, and
Mhm.
keep it and make sure that I get back into it. I mean, as you said, John Maxwell. I've been always listening to my, they don't know me, but I consider my mentors, Pastor Craig Rochelle, Levi Lusco,
Yeah.
um, Tony Evans, all those, very inspiring people, not just religiously, but also,
Yeah.
putting their minds for the business. And that's what I'm doing right now in the certified life coach arena. I
Yeah.
put in what you've learned in the religious realm and put it there in the business part so that more and more people can have access to that. Like you said, personality test. If I may ask, what personality test have you gone through to learn more about yourself?
So Meyer-Briggs
Okay.
is great. In the last couple of years, the Enneagram
There
has.
you go.
Oh,
What?
I love the Enneagram. Are you gonna ask what number I
Yeah,
am?
I know. What number is it?
I'm a 3. Are you
What's your
surprised?
wing? What's your wing? There's a wing, right?
Um,
I mean, by the way, for the audience, I'll have
we can explain. Yeah.
an episode about Enneagram, but I'm just wondering what Landy is. So three, there's
So
usually a wing. What wing are
3
you?
is the achiever. My first wing is a 7, which is the
Okay.
enthusiast.
Yes.
So, which is very
Energy.
funny. And I actually, when I have new team members start on my team, I make them take the Enneagram.
Yep.
And it's funny because I have a 7 on my team, and with her, I have to like majorly deploy my 3 because I'm like, I'm great. I totally understand that you are so excited, but we need to simmer down and be task oriented a little bit.
There's a tip. There's a tip. If you have two number sevens in your group, you should start a podcast.
Yeah, I
It
love
will
it.
energize you
It
both.
would be so fun. That is true. And it's funny, even so, I made my husband take the test, and he's a 2, which is
A
very
helper. It's a
interesting.
helper. Yep.
Or wait, maybe he's a 4. The
It's a artist.
individualist. That's what
Individualist.
he's
Yeah.
a 4. So it's funny because we are very different, but I understand so much more about him and about myself
Yes.
by understanding what his Enneagram number is. And I call him out all the time, like, you're being such a Debbie Downer. You're way too in your feelings right now. You need to let it go. But it's very helpful even for personal relationships and
Yeah.
knowing what numbers people are so that you know how to navigate conflict and
Yeah.
interact better.
Awesome. Awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah, my wing is number 2.
Okay,
I'm a
what's your
helper.
number 1?
Number 1 is a 3.
You're a 3 too. Okay.
And a
See,
3
that's
too.
why we connect.
Yeah, exactly. But meaning, I feel down. That's why I said this is very close to my heart, mental, and behavioral. I feel down if I think I cannot help a person based on my
Okay.
capabilities. So
Yeah.
that's a downer. So that's why I like the Enneagram. I like the disc also, Myers Briggs. And
Yes.
now, I mean, you need to watch the episode, and I'll have a talk on March in the Dallas Social Network about the Working Genius by the
Oh,
Table Group. So this is amazing because how can you put all those personalities into work and be more productive, especially in marketing?
that's
So that's
great.
a good thing to look forward to. So, Miss Landy, thank you very much, and I appreciate, man. I can talk to you all day.
I know.
So
This is so
yeah,
good.
exactly. So as before we end, I usually have a quick fast talk, like just be vulnerable, be
Okay.
jolly about these questions, and get to know you more. Okay, in a very informal way. All right,
Okay.
are you ready?
We're ready.
Okay. What's your favorite early 2000 band?
Oh, Backstreet Boys.
Or
Showing my age. I don't even think they're from the 2000s.
ain't nothing but a
I listened to
heartache.
them in the
There.
2000s.
Is that
I
the
had
jam
those
when
little
you're when
hit
you're when
clips.
you're driving?
Yeah, yeah. Hit clips. Remember those?
What's that again?
Those little hit clips.
Yes.
You'd
There
have a
you go.
little, it was before we had iPods or iPhones or
I got a Discman.
there you go.
There we
Okay.
go.
Okay. I
And
know.
how about a female artist around that time?
I listened to boy bands. I was your typical. I can't even think of.
It's
I don't know.
okay. It's okay. Boy bands rocks that
Yeah.
generation.
I mean, I
Okay.
like older country now.
Okay.
So,
Here we go.
yeah. Some of the women from that time I like country. Reba McEntire, Shania Twain, that kind
Nice, nice.
of, yeah.
Awesome. I'm Filipino, and you know what? Shania is actually big when she's, back then,
Yeah.
Um, favorite breakfast meal? Like what meal, breakfast wise, you're like just pop it in your head?
Bacon, eggs, or breakfast tacos.
Oh,
Green salsa, the verde salsa.
you know what? You're one of the few that coming from the Midwest likes tacos here in Texas.
Yeah, tacos are amazing. Yeah.
Tacos are amazing.
Who doesn't
All
love tacos?
right. Yep. I mean, personally, I like fried rice for breakfast. I'm Asian. Yep. Get
Interesting.
back and going. Yep.
I will say something that I don't eat anymore because I'm gluten free now, but biscuits and gravy was a big thing from home. And my family has a chocolate gravy recipe. My
Sweet.
husband thinks it's disgusting, but I love it. I grew up on it.
Yep. Yep.
Chocolate gravy.
I just want my biscuit smothered on the gravy and just put it in and then eat it
Yep.
like a soup or something.
Yep.
Just love it. Okay. Last, favorite leadership quote or motto in life.
Model.
Motto, MOTTO.
Oh, motto.
Yeah,
Oh.
or leadership quote.
Yeah, I have to think of another one because I already said the live like you're at. I love Ralph Waldo Emerson.
There we go.
Go where the path. I'm gonna mess this up.
It's okay.
So something about do not go where the path leads. Instead, make your own trail. Kind of. I just botched that, but
That's okay.
Ralph Waldo Emerson is my favorite old guy.
There we go. There we go. I mean,
Love
we
his
can
quotes.
always learn from them for
Yes.
sure.
Yes.
So that's amazing. So, any other final words, Miss Landy, before we go, and anything else that you want to add on with your Hickory Trail and stuff?
I know you put contact information below.
Yep.
That is
Yep.
my work email. And then that phone number is to our hospital. So anyone needing more info or needing help can call that. And then if there's anyone that needs to reach me, they can call and leave a message there as well. But thank you so much for what you're doing. I truly think things like this are a part of normalizing this conversation and really helping people understand and get help. So I appreciate you having me on, and I definitely am there to partner with you and help you in any way that I can as well.
Amazing. Thank you very much, Miss Landy. It's an honor. I'm very grateful because, as I said, this is a topic that I really like to highlight, especially now in the pandemic and during my normal episodes for Lead Plus Well. I'm talking about a mindset of a leader. So it's very timely right now. So that's amazing. So, Miss Landy, we'll see you again. This is not the only interview that I'll have you. I'll probably reach out to you in the future soon, okay?
Awesome. Thank you so much.
All right, Miss Landy, have a good day.
You as well.
Bye-bye. All right. Thank you very much, Miss Landy. And everyone, thank you for watching Lead Plus Well. And as a banner cry here in Lead Plus Well, be strong and courageous because you're not just called to lead, my friend, but to lead it well. Have a wonderful day.